All right. So today we're going to talk about ancestral healing, about the intergenerational trauma. But before I start talking about that, I want to share my insight from the retreat that I went on over the weekend with 1,000 women and girls. And you wonder, what can women do? And women can do a lot. On Friday, when I first arrived, I have a little bit culture shock because it's a totally different culture. 1,000 women in a jungle. What can we do? And to be honest, it's just to be who we are, just to be us and be accepted as who we are and not being seen weird or discriminated. So this weekend was really eye-opening for me. So what I learned a lot. The most important thing that I learned is women came together. They want to be healed. They want to understand why they are feeling sad. They want to understanding why are they having fear. They want to understand that why they're struggling. They're struggling to fit in. So in this weekend, there's many different speakers. Some speakers do inner child healing. And of course, they don't call it inner child healing. They use a fancy name called dreaming the moon. When they say dreaming the moon, at first I have no clue what it is. But then it was actually an inner child healing. And they also talk about quantum physics. They also talk about manifestation. We do yoga, we do menstruation, we do cosmology, everything you name it. So my speaking sessions on Sunday morning was supposed to be on Qigong. I want to bring Qigong into the community to really introduce and educate people what Qigong is. Because a lot of people thought, oh, Qigong is just the exercise, right? The movement and the breath. Everyone tell me that. It was so funny. I have one lady, she's a doctor. She said, guess what? See, I learned Qigong about 15 years ago from a master. He's very old man. And he do Qigong. And then she said that, okay, this is what the master told her. So the Qigong is about like a ball. You just keep turning and you keep turning and you keep turning. Now, for people who know about Qigong, it's funny when you hear that because I say anything else. She said, no, he just tell me to keep turning to the point that she said, I have a pain on my shoulder. So that's why she stopped doing it. And then I realized that there's a lot of misunderstanding about what Qigong is. And a lot of people ask me, what is Tai Chi? What is the difference between Tai Chi and Qigong? So I have a lot of women approach me and ask me that question. So I realized that, okay, my Qigong for women health is no longer about the breath, the meditation, and the movement. It's really about bringing the science and quantum physics to explain what Qigong is. So that's what I did. And I bring the science behind what Qigong is. And we focus on meditation. We focus on the brainwave, bringing the science into it. And because I understand that after my Friday and Saturday hanging out with these 1,000 women, I see them and I hear them. And I know they were deep yearning for peace, for feeling calm, to do their healing, and really self-love and self-acceptance, and not to be rejected by the society. And many of them think there's something wrong with them. And so I have to re-educate them of what I learned. And so in the first half of my presentations bring the science into what Qigong is. I told them that Qigong, the very superficial level is about movement and the breath. The second level is about meditation because you want to calm down your brainwave. You want to reset your nervous system. And then the third is about your inner biological healing. And that is where epigenetic come in. And the last stage, if you do it properly, The last stage is on manifestation. And that is what physics say observer effect. And that is when we go from the 3D dimension into the fourth dimension and into the fifth dimension. So I told him in this 3D dimension, if I want my dream is over there. It's far away. So I could get it. I work really hard and I spend all my year trying to achieve my dream. You will get there eventually, but it takes a lot of time. And a lot of people as a nurse, in 20 years, they will come to my office and say, see, I thought all my life, if I just work hard, I just be a good worker, I will get to my dream and then I can retire happily ever after. But then who knows? 5 years before they retire, their husband passed away. They have a chronic health issue. They have a back issue. Now, their dreams is all gone. All this year, they were planning for their retirement is all gone, vanished. So Qigong is the easiest and fastest and the most efficient way to help you get into your manifestation. Because when it comes to manifestation, it all comes with law of attraction. And law of attraction is secondary law to law of vibration. So really, we have all this information, but we don't really use them. And we don't use them properly. And if you apply it properly, you will get what you want. Just like we do math, right? We do physics. E is equal to mc squared. If you plug the number into the equation properly, you have to be right. So that's why in Qigong, we teach you the formula. And I told a lot of the women, there's nothing wrong with you. The only problem wrong with you is you tried for 3 months and you say, how come my soulmate is not here yet? How come my dream is not here yet? This doesn't work. And then you jump into a different program. And then you jump into a different program. I'm like, if you want to be a lawyer, you spend 27 years to become a lawyer. If you want to be a doctor, you will spend 30 years to become a doctor. You want to be a nurse, you will spend 24 years of education to be a nurse. Then your dream. Why do you think that you only give 3 months to get to your dream? So this is really a shift in how they dream, how they think. So finally, in the middle of it, I'm like, okay, do you guys want inner child healing? And everyone said, yes, yes, yes. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I did a short inner child healing because I only have 1 hour with them. I give them a short inner child healing experience and I see tears running down on these women. It doesn't matter they're 25 years old. They're 40 years old. I even have a lady that's 75 years old approach me. And then at the end, I'm already run out of time because I told them I always give you all the information I could because I don't know when is the next time I'm going to see you. And then at the end, I'm already 5 minutes past my hour. And finally, I'm like, can I give you another gift? And everyone say, yes, please. And I look at the organizer. I'm like, can I take another 5 minutes? She said, yes, please go for it. So I give them another exercise, which I call anchoring, which is, this weekend, it was great. We hang out together, we heal together, we cry together, we dance together, we go crazy together. But at the end, when you go back on Monday or even on Sunday night, when you go back to the busy household, on Monday, when you look in your email with 20 emails or your boss sitting right beside you, you were panicking or you were stuck in a traffic jam, you get so mad. Remember, anchor to what you want to feel. And remember the Qigong exercise of relaxing yourself. So at the end, all the people who came to my session came to me. You know what? You could never feel how busy you are. Hey, when people say, "Can you write down your number for me? Can you write down your email for me? Can you sign here? Can you sign here?" Wow, now I can have the experience of an actress. So when you know that 80% of the people who come to my sessions come to you, I would say 80 to 90% of the people who came to the session come to me after the session. That is exactly what the women need. So yeah, that was my experience of the Qigong. And so now I want to bring you into the intergenerational trauma and what that is. Years ago, I never thought I have any generational trauma. I was born in a very Islamic country. Yes, there is discrimination, but I was not born in the time of the war. I was not born in the time of any chaotic in that country until this couple experience in my life that brought me into realize that I do have generational trauma and it was stuck in my DNA. So for generations, people have been carried the weight of their family history. I do. Since I was young, my grandfather told me, never ever go to Japan. Never in your lifetime. Because he always said that how much he hate Japanese. Because he witnessed how Japanese killed the Chinese, how Japanese raped the young women and killed them, and how they killed the babies, and how they take over the estate from my grandma family in Malaysia. So my grandma always talk about that and how they become a refugee. So they have a lot of hate in them. For years, I just treat that as, oh, I'm just listening to a story. No big deal. But like I say, until I experienced that, I realized that I do have generational trauma. Oftenly, when we have that trauma in us, we don't know about it. And this ancestral shadow can manifest as a repeated pattern. It's an unresolved trauma and fear that shape our life in a significant way. So today we will have to explore the important way of understand our heritage, how to recognize the influence of past generations and the profound impact it has on our personal growth. We're not going back into the trauma in the past and hate the enemy. We're going to embrace everything because back in 50, 80, 100 years ago, they did not know any better. They were just run by the ego. They were run by the hate. They were run by the fear, and they were run by the greed. And even nowadays, we all have greed. And I would raise my hands like I do have greed too. Because like many times I always feel like I don't have enough money. I will work, 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 work. And in fact, I do have enough money. And where does that limiting belief come from? Yeah, I know it's from my parents. Yeah, I know my parents always say that. Yeah, I know the whole story. They were refugees, they have to work hard. But it's still irrational fear. Why? And of course, if you really go deeper, deeper and deeper, it all comes down to the generational trauma. Because for my grandfather, he always say, I don't have food to eat. When I have to escape from China, we have to eat the tree roots. We have to dig into the soil to eat the roots, even though it's not eatable. But there's nothing else, or else they will die. So my grandfather actually had to dig into the tree, into the soil, and cut off the roots of the tree and eat them in order to continue his journey to Southeast Asia from China. So today we're going to learn to break free and how to break free. We you know what? We pick up the nose, our mouth, our look from our ancestors. Some people say, oh my God, you look like your grandfather. You look like your dad. You look like your great grandmother. And also the emotional propensities. We pick them up from our ancestor. We might even pick up their behavior and even spiritual in the same way that we inherit their physical characteristic. A lot of it, unfortunately, according to science, a lot of it, we get it from our mom. Poor mom, hey? We always blame our mom. So imagine, as you were growing in her tummy, the first thing you do is you hear your mom talking. You hear your mom heartbeat. And you can feel her emotional state. You can feel it. Maybe she was upset. Maybe she was angry. She was depressed. She was stressed. She was fearful. And some baby, they even feel I'm not wanted because the mom do not want the baby because she was a teen mom or whatever. I know for my oldest daughter, she does feel that too. Some days she doesn't feel like she was wanted until I do my healing and able to talk to her. And until I do my healing energetically, to able to heal the energy around my family. And that's why doing Qigong is the fastest way to shift your energy, the stuck energy in your body, not just in you, but the energy around you, your family, your ancestor, and the generations to come. Because you heal the trauma in this generation, the next generations do not have to carry the trauma energy in their body. And so we hear our mom. What is the tone? What is the quality of her voice? And what is she living with? And the energy in her body. And it get into your bone. It get into your DNA. And imagine our mom got hers from her mother and her dad. And then on and on. So this is how we carry the genetic from generations to generation. And all these are encrafted in our bone, in our DNA, in how our cell vibrate. It is the energy. It is the energy that we carry, that we vibrate. And so many times you say that, why is the one thing that I want to manifest never come true? Because your cell is vibrating at a different vibration. You could say that, yeah, I'm happy, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed. You know what? Your body will tell the truth. A lot of people say, yeah, I done that. I'm done healing. I'm done healing. But then if you get sick, if you have rashes, if you have abdominal pain, that means that you're not healed yet because your body is vibrating at a different frequency. The result never lie. My mentor always say, your result never lie. You don't heal until you see the result you want is here. If the result you want is not here, that means that you don't know what you are doing. You could say that I know everything here, but then until you get it into your body, you change your result, that tell you your result. Now, one thing is, I have to tell you, 6 months ago, I told myself that, okay, my daughter is getting married in Asia. I need money. I need money. So every day I was like, okay, I'm manifesting. I have 10 clients every day. Call me for first aid. 10 clients every day. Call me for first aid every day. That was the intention. That was my manifestation. And guess what? 2 months ago, I do have people calling me like crazy all day long. And especially recently, I said, you know what? I don't know why I'm so exhausted. And then I talked to one of my best friend, Cam. She said, see, I think you're overworked. I'm like, I think you're right. So now I have to reassess what I manifest. And in the last week, my phone was ringing like crazy to the point that I want to run away from my phone. Because every hour I have 5 missed calls. Every hour I have 5 missed calls. I really want to run away from my phone. So really watch out what you manifest. And when you do the formula correctly, your manifestations come really fast, especially in the Chinese and even in Hannah, right? You send me what science have proved. The Chinese has already said that 2025, the earth is entering into a different frequency. So which means if you do this formula properly in manifestation, you plant your seed in the quantum field, what you manifest is coming really fast, faster than ever. And also, if you think of a bad thought or you say bad thing, it will get manifest really fast too. So really watch out what you were thinking and watch out what you are asking for. Because now we're entering a different frequency. Why? They say that because more and more people is awakening compared to 20 years ago. Thanks to the internet. And thank you to COVID. Because of COVID, people go online and they realize that money doesn't buy them happiness no more. And a lot of people are on this journey of personal development, personal growth, and inner child healing. Because when your body is carrying all the trauma from generations to generation, your vibration is really slow. Your vibration is really slow. So whatever you want, come back to you very slowly. And most of the time, the bad thing come to you and you wonder why, because your body was vibrating at that frequency. So now we know there is a way to change. And like I say, in this 21st century, people are living with fear. And it is so irrational. You don't even know why, and you don't understand it. And very often I see that in many people, if they're so confused, why they were being triggered by something that doesn't even make sense to them. And again, I say it's in your DNA, nothing is wrong. So the first thing you can do is self-compassion. Self-compassion is so critical because it allows you to see the whole picture, the whole story. Oh, I got this fear from my mom, from my grandparents. Now I give compassion to myself and to my ancestor. And then I look at my kids. I'm like, now I see why they behave like that. Because it was passed on from generations to generation. So you understand it and you don't get mad at your kids and scream and yell at them. This is so important for us to know our parents' story. That's why ask your parents, if they're still alive nowadays, ask them, what is their story? So we understand how we are, what we are doing, why we are doing, why we are doing, and why we feel that way. And there was a research in 2013 where they took the mice and they used these mice and exposed to a smell called cherry blossom. Whenever they smell the cherry blossom, they will shock the mice. So over time, the mice get smart. Once they smell the cherry blossom, they panic because they know that they're going to get shocked and they know it's going to be painful. So after a few months, they stop shocking the mice. They stop shocking the mice, but they still put the cherry blossom. But every time when the mice smell the cherry blossom, they panic, even though there's no shock. They panic. Now, then 2 generations later, they realized that the little grandchildren, whenever they smell the cherry blossom, their nervous system become in shock. So they realize that, oh my God, this really passed down to generation. And it's not only on mice, it's also on cow, also on horses, on a lot of animals. So the first thing that we have to do is to do self-compassion and really forgive. Forgive people who hurt you. Forgive people who hurt you is not about forgiving them. It's really forgive yourself. Many times we hold the grudges on other people and on ourselves. Now, it's so easy to say that, yeah, I forgive him already. I forgive her already. But then we never forgive ourselves. We never. So for example, for me, a few years ago, I made a horrible investment. I lost a lot of money. And I hate that person. But then in the journey of personal development, I realized that, okay, I need to forgive that person. I need to forgive that person to let loose of me. So I did forgive him. But then recently I realized that I did not forgive myself because I look back into my pattern. I look back into my pattern because I work myself so hard to the point that I'm exhausted. And I look, why would I force myself to work so hard to the point that I'm exhausted? Because unconsciously, I punish myself for the bad investment. That was a few years ago. I lose a lot of money. So I say that I'm going to make the money back. I have to work so hard, work so hard. Whenever I have the money, I give it to my kids because as a way to punish me. So I can work hard again, work hard again. I didn't see that pattern in me until recently. And again, when I do my inner child healing. So that is critical. Awareness is critical. And really forgive ourselves is critical. Now, another thing is why we are doing trauma healing so critical is Because when we really heal ourselves, we release the energy that is connected to our body, to our DNA, and also the energy impacting our children and our ancestors. That's why we need to heal. Another common thing is a lot of people, one thing I realized in this retreat is a lot of these healer, they call them the healer. They will tell people that I want to give you an inner child healing. So they say, okay, everyone lay down, everyone lay down. And then they say, now, as you were laying down, I want you to think about when you were 6 years old, what happened to you? When you were 7 years old, what happened to you? And right there, I find that there's something wrong on it. What is wrong on it? The thing wrong on it is you just tell people to go back to 6, 7 years old, 10 years old. And people have to go back and really look through 6 years old. What is the trauma? What is the trauma? We don't need to dig out the trauma. Your body will tell you when you need to heal. So how do I know when I need to heal? That's why I told all these ladies at the retreat, do not go and have nothing better to do but dig out the trauma, okay? Your body will tell you when to heal. So when do I know when to heal? Is number one, when I realize that I hit a glass ceiling. I want to climb up the corporate ladder, but I feel like no matter how hard I work, I just can't do it. And then is I want to build my business, but I try so hard. I feel like there's something I'm not breaking through. Or you have a chronic illness. If you have a chronic illness, the doctors say, there's nothing I can do for you. And you have to take these medications for the rest of your life. Now, I always tell people that, would you be willing to lean into the 1% possibility of your healing? And do you believe that the way you think, the way you treat yourself, have something to do with your chronic illness? So I always ask people, would you be willing to open your mind and lean into the 1% possibility? So do not dig into the trauma and keep saying, I need to heal, I need to heal, I need to heal. That's why I told the women, I know inner child healing is the trend, but you don't have to do the trend every day because it's not relaxing like your hot yoga. Your body will tell you when to heal. When you feel like you hit a glass ceiling, when you know that you have a chronic illness, when you know that the things in your life is not what you want, that means there is a healing need to be done. That was it. Don't purposely go and dig into it. Because when we were doing that healing, she said that go back to your 6 years old, go back to your 7 years old, go back to your 8 years old. Frank, she go for 12 years. She go from 0 years old to 12 years old. These people keep re-traumatize themselves. And then they say, find a partner and tell them about your trauma. I saw these women crying, sobbing, looking helplessly. So that's why I changed the way I want to run my Qigong session. Because I want to give them hope. I want to inspire them. Don't go and dig for your trauma. Your body will tell you when to heal. You don't need to dig into it. And that was a 10 minutes, the maximum 10 minutes. Neurotransformational exercise, 10 minutes. Women were crying. People say, at the end of my session, they say, this is so powerful. They feel a shift. They feel a shift in the body. And they reframe the way they think. That is it. That is it. It doesn't take 10 years to heal. It can take 10 minutes to shift. We only want 1% shift, 1% shift, 1% shift. If you try to go from New York to California, if it's a straight line from New York to California or Vancouver to Toronto, if it's a straight line, but every day you do a 1% shift to the north, 1% shift to the north, 1% shift to the north. Eventually, in a year time, you're not heading to California. You're heading to Yukon. So we only look for the 1% shift every single day or every 2 months. Whenever you feel like you hit the glass ceiling, you feel like, oh, I don't feel good. That means healing needs to be done. That was it. And you can be healed. You can be healed. And so I know I go over time, but I know that people brought up about the generational trauma. Sorry, Hannah, I'm taking up your time. And at the end, right now, before I hand it to Hannah, I want to give you a gift of opening your heart. Listen to your intuition. So whenever you are ready, if wherever you are feels safe, I invite you to close your eye. Head, relax. Neck, relax. Shoulder, relax. Chest, relax. Abdomen, relax. Whole back, relax. Arm, hand, finger, relax. Leg, thigh, feet, toe, relax. Whole body, relax now. Continue to relax. Imagine a bowl of golden white light 3 feet above your head is pouring down into your head, all the way down, just like taking a shower, cleansing your body, cleansing your inner body. We take shower every day. How often do you take shower inside your body? Really forgive everything that you have done that you don't like. Really take this time to give love to this body. This body is your temple. It holds your soul. You are so powerful. You have 30 trillion cells inside you, vibrating, waiting for your command to love, to shine, to forgive. Now take a few deep breaths and imagine gathering all the bits of your attentions, focus, energy into the center of your head, behind your third eye, which is between your eyebrow. Gather any of your attention that is on your past and bring it to the present, right here, right now. Gather your attention back from the future. Bring it to the present. Bring that and any other scattered attention into the still point, a point of light in the center of your head. And breathe in and out. Imagine sliding down a tube from the center of your head into the space of your heart. Look around and find a door. This is the door to the inner chamber of your heart, a space reserved just for you and your essence. Some call it spirit, God, or higher self. Slowly open the door, enter into it, and then close the door securely behind you. Look around at this inner space and notice how it looks. Move to the center of the space and allow a golden light from above to connect into you. Feel the wall of your personality melt away, allowing only the inner truth and insight to remain in you. Experience for a moment the real you, the you that don't have to pretend or behave in front of other people. It's just you. What important questions do you have? Ask it. Allow your deeper answer to emerge. Let yourself be surprised. The answer can be a feeling, a thought, an image, or you just know it, or a voice. When you listen long enough, be open to this space and allow whatever comes to you. The answer will come out from the silence. Go and ask your question now and listen. What insight do you get? Rest in this space as long as you like. You can ask other questions too. And when you feel complete, say thank you. And then slowly exit the chamber. And slowly close the door behind you. Be sure to bring your answer with you as you go back up the tube to the center of your head. Take a moment now to let this wisdom of your heart fill your mind. And when you're ready, you may slowly open your eye. And if you would like to, you may write it down before you forget. What is the answer you get in this safe space where you remove all the layers and just be you? I feel like a lot is happening because as I was trying to send energy to everyone, my hand is really vibrating, really vibrating. All right, I'll pass it to you, Hannah.
Thank you, C. Thank you. Let me see. Yes. So, okay. Thank you. And and again, see, whenever bring us into this space, it's it's very hard always for me to come back. It's like, oh, wait, but it's really good. I love that energy of being, just in your own self and feeling the golden shower and everything. So thank you. Long thing that I'm saying, but I just wanted to say thank you. Okay. So this is Birth the New Story and Reclaim Your Power, a narrative intervention for releasing old stories and claiming self-authorship. The mirror cracked, but not because I dropped it, because I saw it. And in it, I didn't see me. I saw obedience. I saw inheritance. I saw ghosts. There's a moment in every life, quiet but shattering, when the mirror doesn't show your face, it shows your programming. Not the one you wrote, the one that was handed to you, whispered, modeled, and inherited. Mine showed up at a climate march. The banners waved, the chants were a chorus of urgency. And my body, it was frozen because my mom's voice echoed in my bones. Don't stand out. Don't make noise. You don't know what could happen. My mom grew up in Indonesia during the brutal 1965 and 1966 anti-communist purges, when as many as 1 million suspected communists and their sympathizers, ordinary farmers, teachers, artists, were massacred across Java, Bali, and Sumatra. The killings spread rapidly, fueled by the army, local militias, and even religious groups. Neighbors turned on to neighbors. Bodies were dumped in rivers. Mass graves were dug in silence. My mother, a young college student, remembers the rivers where corpses floated past her school. The propaganda, supported by Western powers, including the CIA and MI6, cast it as a righteous purge, as a necessity for national survival. In that era, being quiet was not just safe, it was survival. Invisibility was not a virtue, it was the only shield against disappearance. My mom survived, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be here. And in that brutal landscape, she learned that safety meant silence. And unknowingly, she passed that survival story to me. In turn, I internalized her story of survival, not from machetes or purges, but from another kind of danger: rejection, disapproval, exile from the group. So I built a life around the old story. Got the degrees, stayed close to home, waited for somebody to say, now you're ready. But I wasn't chasing readiness. I was chasing safety through usefulness, through perfection, through dimming my own light. Hi, I'm Hannah Essenberg, and this is not just a healing workshop. It's a narrative intervention, because the story you've been living might not be the one you wrote. And that story, it's keeping you small. Let me explain what I mean by that. A narrative intervention is when we pause and examine the story that's been running your life, maybe for years, maybe since childhood. It's the inner monologue shaped by trauma, family culture, or systems of oppression that say, I'm only worthy if I'm perfect. I must stay small to stay safe. And my needs don't really matter. But what if none of those stories are true? What if they're just rehearsed beliefs pretending to be facts? Narrative intervention gives you the tools to interrupt those loops and to consciously write a new story that honors your truth, your agency, and your future. That's what today is all about. So last week, Trump's budget passed. They called it the Big Beautiful Bill. I call it the Big Ugly Lie. And what it really did was brutal. It slashed food stamps, dismantled Medicaid, and reversed student loan forgiveness. It sent a message: only the wealthy deserve safety, only the privileged deserve care. Most Americans don't think this affects them. They're not poor, right? But poverty isn't just an income bracket. It's the fear that one wrong move will cost you everything. Let me show you what I mean. A woman in Kansas held her toddler close, staring at the pharmacy window. The asthma inhaler cost $150, and rent will be due in 3 days. She left without the meds, telling her daughter that play a quiet game until the wheezing passed. Or a 19-year-old UCLA student charged her textbooks to a credit card with 28% interest rate. She eats instant ramen in her car parked behind the library. Her financial aid ran out last semester. Or a retired couple in Georgia opened their fridge. It was mostly condiments. They split a can of soup and skipped their blood pressure meds for the third time this week. We'll catch up next month, they say, but next month never stretches far enough. These aren't rare stories. They're decisions some Americans face every day. You might be wondering, how does this affect me? You're not the mom skipping inhalers. You're not the student sleeping in her car. But here's the truth. We all pay the price of a society that treats survival like a luxury. Because when that mother's daughter ends up in the ER gasping for air, the system pays more. Next time you'll need to visit the hospital, you'll notice that your copay has increased. When the college student drops out, the country loses her brilliance, her taxes, and her future innovations. When that retired couple collapses from untreated hypertension, their emergency care becomes a public cost, and the life they built is reduced to a billing code. The fire doesn't stop at someone else's door. We're all connected. And when we believe the myth that their suffering isn't my problem, we build a world where no one is safe, where burnout becomes the baseline, where numbness replaces empathy. We're living in a burning house, and the people who lit the match are calling it progress. They're holding the hostess hostage while blaming you for the smoke. This isn't just about personal healing, it's about collective liberation. Because to change your life, you have to question the story you were handed. And to build a different world, you have to believe you're worth more than survival. And friends, you are. If you've ever found yourself over-explaining, over-functioning, or overdoing, not because you want to, but because your nervous system believes being useful equals being safe, you're not alone. You're not the only one carrying ancestral fear, perfectionism, or performance worthiness, but you may be the first in your family to stop rehearsing it. Let that sink in. You are the break in the chain, the deviation from the script, the one rewriting the ending. That is ancestral courage. Telling the story is powerful, but our nervous system, they hold echoes long after the words are gone. Your brain might understand that you're safe now, but your body may still brace for danger it learned decades ago from a parent's silence, a teacher's glance, a system that rewarded shrinking. That's where tapping comes in. Also known as emotional freedom technique or EFT, tapping is a science-backed method that helps calm the brain's fear center or the amygdala and rewires the old emotional patterns stored in the body. Imagine gently pressing reset on your inner storyteller, not erasing what happened, but reclaiming how it lives in you. We'll tap through 8 acupressure points: the eyebrow, the side of the eye, under the nose, the chin, the collarbone, under the arm, and the top of the head. We'll do 3 rounds of tapping. I'll say some words as we go. You can repeat them aloud or silently. You can tweak them. You can cry or laugh. Just breathe through it all. Today, we're going to tap on that moment that we forgot we were enough. Because once you were a baby, crying and expecting to be fed, held, and loved, you never questioned your worth. But somewhere along the way, the world taught you to shrink, to apologize for needing, to mistake silencing your needs for maturity. Let's return to that place before forgetting. Okay, in tapping round 1, we'll examine the old story. So, eyebrow. I've been carrying a story that was never fully mine. Side of the eye. The story said that I had to earn my worth. Under the eye, the story said, don't stand out, don't need too much. Under the nose, I learned to equate survival with silence, chin, and safety with performance. Collarbone, because somewhere along the line, I picked up the belief that being lovable meant being useful. Under the arm, this fear doesn't belong to me. It was handed down. Top of your head, and I'm allowed to hand it back. I'm allowed to hand back the armor I never chose. Today, I choose what comes next and honor the fire in me. In tapping round 2, we're interrupting the fire. Oops, yeah. So eyebrow point. I see the flames now. Side of the eye, the flames of burnout, of injustice, of inherited fear. Under the eye, the burden of carrying stories that weren't mine. Under the nose, the weight of being the one who holds it all together. Chin, but I'm not a fire escape. Collarbone, I am not the rescue plan. Under the arm, I'm allowed to walk out of the blaze. Top of the head, and let this fire clear space for something new. Before we enter the final tapping round, let's name the heart of this practice. Recognizing that the story you've been telling yourself about your worth, your limits, or your role was often written for you and not by you. You are allowed to outgrow survival stories. You're allowed to choose what comes next. So as we enter the next section, our final tapping and reflection, know this: You are not broken. You are breaking free to reclaim your power. In tapping round 3, a new story begins. Eyebrow. I was born knowing that I mattered. Side of the eye, I remember the child who reached up and trusted that she'd be held. Under the eye, somewhere along the way, I forgot. Under the nose, but I'm remembering now the me before the masks. Chin, I lay down the armor stitched from fear. Collarbone, I can be the one who writes a different ending. Under the arm, I'm writing a new story and I begin today. Top of your head, I choose to lead from enoughness. Let's slow this down. You didn't question your worth when you were a baby. You cried and expected to be held. You felt hunger and expected to be fed. You didn't ask, am I good enough to deserve love? That knowing still lives in you. You were taught to forget it. But now you're the one who remembers. You can say this affirmation to yourself. I remember who I am. I reclaim my power. Even in a burning world, I carry a fire that heals. Let the truth of that affirmation settle in your body. And now, let's name what it means for your story. Try the journal prompts below. What old story are you finally ready to release? For me, it's that usefulness is the only thing that makes me lovable and safe. What truth am I ready to remember? That my worth is not conditional. It was never earned. It just is. And what sentence will I live by this week? I'm allowed to take up space. Now it's your turn. Take a breath and write your answers. There are infinite stories to choose from. Which one could be your hope? Place a hand on your heart and say this aloud with me. I do not need permission to be real. I do not need to prove my worth by breaking myself for systems that were never built for my thriving. Today, I reclaim my story. We're living in an age of collapse, of betrayal, of burning budgets and broken systems. But every collapse carries the seeds of a beginning. We're the ones who choose what will grow in its place. The myth of separation says you're on your own, but the medicine of story reminds us that we're not. Together, we can co-author a future rooted not in extraction, but in enoughness, in mutual thriving, in joy that doesn't require martyrdom. This is the work. This is the rebellion, and this is how we begin again. And I want to thank C for creating the kind of space where stories don't just live, they heal. C's YouTube channel is filled with nourishment for the nervous system. If you need more grounding in your life, go to visit her at youtube.com/Celiu. And if this resonated, you can explore more on my blog at pathtoimpactcoaching.com. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you, Hannah. I always love listening to your voice. It's so calming and relaxing. Now, before we end, I really want to remind you if you are having any challenges in your life right now, I know you can heal. It doesn't matter what the doctors say, what the diagnosis is. It matters on what you believe. Over the weekend, I hear speakers say they heal from MS. I hear speakers say that their son was born and there's a lot of fluid in the newborn. And the doctors say there's a high possibility that your son is going to be underdeveloped. So he will never be normal again. And he might not even be able to talk or walk. The mother collapsed. But a neurosurgeon told her that I can only tell you what I learned in school. There is some other possibility we do not know. But if you love your son, continue to love him. And she hold on to that love. She said, yeah, no matter who my son become, I'll still love him. And she said that today, her son is 5 years old, jumping up and down and talking. If these people are willing to lean into the 1% possibility and see magic, why would you not? This is your chance for the possibility in this quantum physics, biology, physics, quantum physics, epigenetic, all the science has already proved that there is intelligence in the universe. And we decide to be a human in spirituality because we're not here to say that I want to be a human so I can go to school, I can work, I can make money, I can eat, I can poop, I can cry, and I have trauma. And I find a soulmate that I think he is good and he betray me, or I find a good man and have kids and then get sick and die. No, that is not your purpose as a human. In psychology, Maslow, Abraham say that we are for self-actualizing. So which means when you decide to pick up this body, before you even decide to pick up this body, you already know in this life there are challenges. There are healing to be done. There is work to be done. If you don't want to do any work, you will not want to be a human. Trust me, might as well be a pig. You just eat and sleep and get killed anyway. Because we're all going to die. So as a human, we have challenges. You have your own challenges. I have my own challenges. You have your own trauma. I have my own shit. So the point is, we need to do what we need to do. If you have healing to be done, we need to heal. How do I know I have healing that need to be done? Because I have health challenges. I have trauma. I have results that I don't want. I got people betray me. People are not nice to me and I collapse in my valley. That means healings need to be done. And trust me, when you really play full out to do your healing, you shift your energy, your life will change. Don't expect to change within one day. I always tell people I can help you change your life. But if you only say one day you want to change your life, I say you find another person. Might as well find a yogi. Even a yogi will tell you you need at least a few months or even a few days. The difference between successful people and not successful people is successful people, they have the discipline and they have long will. They know that my life will not change in one day. It will not change in 2 days. It will not even change in 1 year. But in 10 years, my life will be so different. Even in 3 years, when no one even believe you. And that's why it's so important to have a community with a like-minded. It's so important in having a coach or a mentor or community that hold the possibility for you. Why do you think all these women came to me after my session? Because they see the hope, the possibility. And last year, I was speaking at Justice as Trauma conference. And that 2 days of conference in Vancouver. They all talking about trauma. For God's sake, I was so depressed. A lot of the audience say they feel so depressed because they only talk about healing and trauma. So this year, guess what? This year, I didn't even bother going to the conference. But then they email and say that we are looking for speaker who can talk about hope. Because they say from the feedback of their audience, they want hope. They want to get inspired. They don't want to always talk about healing. They don't want to always talk about their trauma. They don't always want to talk about that person hurt me, that person betrayed me, that person do this to me, that person do that to me. They are done with this blame, complaint, shame, and keep talking about their past. What is it so good about you keep talking about your past? Nothing. You just relive in the past. Enough is enough. It's time to live a new story. We need a new story. The past gave us a crappy story, but today, now, I can change my story. I can absolutely change my story. A homeless. He is a homeless in Thailand. And then one day he picked up a book called Success Principle and he changed his mind. And then 2 years later, he became one of the richest men in Thailand. And now he become one of the richest men in the world. And then people ask him, when do you start believe that you are rich? He said that the day I have no place to live but sleep on the bench in the garden. On that day on, I believe I can be rich. Even before he become rich. He said, when no one even trusts me, people laugh at me, but he say, I know I will. It's the inner knowing. So connect to your intuition, connect to yourself. Don't look at your bank account. Don't look at the people who hurt you. Don't look at your email. Don't look at all the bills that you have to pay. Yes, they are real. But this result are the result of your past thinking, your past story. And if you want a better result, today you change your thinking. You start doing your healing. You start taking action in order for result to change. You keep thinking the same thing, feeling the same thing, doing the same thing. No shit, nothing is going to change. I see this 1,000 women. A lot of them, they say, I feel so good coming to the retreat, so I want to come back again. So some people say, this is my 3rd year, this is my 5th year. And then I ask them, so anything change on you? No, I just feel good. What, you think this is a party? Yeah, it is a party, but 2 days a year? For God's sake. Put a clear intention. Put a clear intention. That's why people never change their life because they treat that as nothing. If you play so with life, life will play so with you. When you do your healing, you play full out. When I do my healing with my mentor or with my peer, I play full out because my intention is I know I have healing to be done. If I'm going to cry my shit out, I'll give myself 6 months to cry it full out. I'll give myself 1 year to be like shit. But after this 1 year, I better get better. And after one session of crying, I better start doing something to change my life. And that is the difference. A lot of the time I realize what is the difference? It's not because you're smarter than me or I'm smarter than you. The difference is we need discipline. We need support. We need the intention. A lot of people say, look, I have this health problem. Oh, because my mom was like that. Oh, because my dad was like that. Because of my brother. Because of this. Because of that. Okay, every year you have these rashes. Every year you have this problem. And you keep living in the past. Damn it. It pisses me off. So whenever people ask me to be their coach, I would tell them that if you play full out, I play full out with you. If you are just putting one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, I'm not your coach. You know, find another coach to play with you. You can pay them. Don't waste my time. You want result? I want result. You want to change? I want to change. So don't entertain me. If you want to entertain and play, you know what? I'm not your coach. That's why I always tell people. I'm like, are you ready? If you're ready, I want you to really do the homework. I want you to do it. But you know what? To change your life, this is it. This is it. I am looking for a coach like me to me because I know this is my way. If you are too nice to me, I wouldn't do anything. I want you to kick my ass because I want to change my life. I have a big dream. I do have a big dream. To the dream that I never thought is possible. But I keep doing, and now I do. I have an inner knowing that I think it is possible for me. So nowadays, I become an asshole. I keep asking people, what do you think? You want to collaborate? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And even when I'm going to hold my women conference in October, I know very clear what I want to bring to these women. It's not, wow, it's a good conference, have fun, eat, play. Oh, good, I'll see you next year. No, let's do the work. Let's do the work. Let's cry together. And you know what? At my session, these women cry. These women came up and hugged each other. You see, that is what I want. Because it's time for us to support each other to heal and then step on the gas and step on the gas and just keep moving. Let's go. Let's go. You have 80 years on earth. I have 80 years on earth. Half of my 80 years is gone. I don't have a lot of time left. So during this last half of my 80 years, I want to do what I really want. Well, a lot of my friends say, see, you're having midlife crisis. I don't give it a midlife crisis. I call it spiritual awakening because now I have a purpose. My first 40 years of life, I live what my parents want me to live. I live what most people are living. I do a lot of things that most people are doing. Nowadays, I can I I can love what I'm doing. When I say something, I have power. Not the power because I have the power, I force it, but the power from the universe, the power from my heart, because I want to give it to everyone. And I always tell myself at the session, I'm like, okay, I learned from all these speakers. At the end of the session, they always say that, everyone, I have this coaching package. I have this program. I have this training program. Come join me. Contact me. You know what? I'm only have 1 hour speaking. I think I talk for 1 hour and 20 minutes. And people still want me to continue, but I need to stop for the next speaker. So I keep giving to the point that I'm like, damn it, I forgot to tell them I offer one-on-one coaching. Right? I'm like, damn, I didn't even do what I want to do. But that's okay because these people ask for my contact. And if they really want the healing, they will contact me. I already give them my contact. If you don't want my healing, I will not force you because that is your life. In spirituality, I will not force anyone who are not ready to heal because you are impact their cause and effect. So I am here available. You want to heal? Let's do the work. So, but then it's okay because after the session, people say, "Can I buy you breakfast?" My friend buy me breakfast, coffee, and then as I was walking down the forest, people say, "Oh my God, see!" And then they come and hug me. Some days I don't even know who is that lady, and so a lot of women keep hugging me for a long time, and then I'm like, "Are you trying to heal me, or I'm trying to heal you?" Because I'm sharing my story, not to make them feel sorry for me. I'm sharing my story to inspire them so that they can see the possibility in them. And it's so funny when I show them physically how a little girl having this limiting belief as we grow up. One of my girlfriends, she was crying. I'm like, and then during coffee, I look at her. I'm like, I saw you crying really bad. I'm like, what did I say that triggered you? She said, I just feel so sorry for your childhood. I'm like, okay, wrong intention here. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I want you to get connect to yourself. But then she's not ready to do her inner child healing. It's no shame, no blame. It's only for people who are ready. People who are ready. right? So so today, and after that session, I have all this power. I really realized that I have all this power to help people. I have all this power to help people. I hold this space for these women to cry. And we were surrounded by tall tree and bushes. And we sit on the grass, wet grass, early in the morning when it's 13 degrees Celsius. And they came because they're looking for the healing. They're looking for the healing. They're ready. And so I want you to ask yourself, if there's something in your life that you're so shit and tired and so freaking tired of it, and you're ready for change, then you know what? Let's do the work together. Let's do the work together because we don't have a lot of time on earth no more. And it's time to heal. It's time to heal. When we heal, we change our life, we change our ancestor, we change our generations to come and our parents. So yeah, I have all this energy after the retreat. I really feel like, wow, I can really heal people in 10 minutes. I saw all these women crying. People probably wonder what's wrong in this session. But yes, this is the power. This is the power. And I realize that this is what women want. Because they come to me and many of them in the 70s, 60s, they say, this is powerful. They never experienced that before. So that is all I want to say. Connect with me. I even offer you a free timeline therapy, inner child healing. I'll give it for free for you. One session and you experience yourself and see if there's any change. And I know there will be change. I know there is change because I told you when I decide to go into this inner child healing, I give myself 6 months. I can cry my shit out. I book myself with my peer back to back, back to back. Whatever they say they need people, I say, I'll go, I'll go. And after that, I see a shift in me. And because I do my healing, I step on the gas. I go for my dream. And then I do my healing, I go for my dream again. I do my healing, I go for my dream again. That's what I told these women. Do not purposely go to the tree and dig to look for a trauma. No, your body will tell you when you're ready to heal. When you're not ready to heal, your body will not show it to you because you're not ready. Your body has all the wisdom. Listen to the body. If you are sick right now, you have any chronic illness, listen to the body because there's something you were doing, your body do not like it. And so your body give you this symptom so you can stop what you're doing and pay attention to the body. I have a friend who have MS. I have a friend who has immunosuppressant. And then they've been diagnosed for a few years now. They depend on the medications to get better. And so at the retreat, I say that I have one complimentary ticket. Do you want to come with me? I say, I think this will benefit you. And one is a pharmacist, one is a nurse. They say, see, I don't believe in this. I don't believe in this body, mind, spirit connection. I only believe in medication. And I told them that if there's 1% possibility for you to heal, would you not want to lean on it? And I save you $500 to go to that retreat, for God's sake. And they say, I don't really believe it. There's nothing I can do. And I say, sure. At least I make the offer. It is their life. It is their cause and effect. And the doctor even tell them, you might have 10, 20 years left to live or any time. But you know what? That is their choice. Even though I know this will help them, I cannot interrupt into people's life, into people cause and effect. This is the law. You can only help people who are willing to be helped. So I'll end right here. I just
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.